Hi to everyone who's here for a story. Now, many of you know that I'm Pastor Laura and I serve at St. Paul Lutheran in Asheville. And part of what I do is be with people on that journey when they are dying or when somebody they love has died. That's part of what I do. As a kid, we feel so full of life that death feels so strange to us. But it is part of our living, that living things wear out and die. And one of the promises of hope that we hold on to as Christians is that Jesus died and yet rose again. And so our deaths are embraced by Jesus, and promises of new life are ours to share. And that's a tough one to figure out, but you will learn and understand about that as you grow. So I'm sharing a book today that has been helpful for kids I know, and it's called When Dinosaurs Die, A Guide to Understanding Death. And we'll get right to that and show you that. Here's our book. Now, many of you, when you see that artwork, who are a bit older, are thinking, I kind of recognize those cartoony figures. And that's because the illustrator for this book is the same one who was the illustrator for the Arthur series on PBS, and that is Marc Brown. The writer of this book is Laurie Krasny Brown, and Marc did the illustrating, and together they've brought us a book for talking about what it means to die and what happens next, and just answer some of our questions. All right. And the one fun part about this book is all the stuff that just tucked in places that gets said. And here's a dinosaur kid talking to his puppy, and many times this is how we feel. This dying stuff makes me feel sad, worried, and afraid. And sometimes it can even make us feel kind of angry and mad. So, and that's okay. Those are some of the feelings that come. All right, let's move on. These are some of the things we're going to read about. What does alive mean? Why does someone die? What does dead mean? Feelings about death. Among friends, saying goodbye, keeping customs, what comes after death, ways to remember someone, and then there's even a glossary. So here we go. First chapter. What does alive mean? Every single living being has a beginning, a time to be alive, and then an ending or death. During your lifetime, your body is busy doing its work. You breathe and move, eat, see, hear, touch, taste, smell, grow, talk, play, think, and feel. Yippee, you're alive and part of the world. And this is a very busy, lively scene of people of all ages doing different things and being alive. Why does someone die? Dying is a part of life for every living thing. Death happens for different reasons. Someone may die after a long illness, so everyone knew he or she was going to die. And that's the focus of this picture. And then other times, it's a complete surprise, and an emergency happens, and everyone tries to help them very quickly. A life can be very long or very short. Even someone just born may not be strong or healthy enough to stay alive. Others may die by being hurt in an accident, even when doctors and nurses do everything possible to help. Some accident victims do not recover. Now, I think if these two were writing this book today, they would talk about getting sick from viruses. Some people have gotten sick enough that, yes, their lives have ended. They've stopped being alive from the coronavirus. Many, many other people have had the virus and have recovered, which means their bodies have kept on living. Let's see what's next. Sometimes lives are lost violently, such as when someone kills someone else. It may be in a war, or for reasons that are very hard to understand, such as poverty, prejudice, and drug abuse. Someone may even be so upset and without hope about his problems that they kill themselves, and this is called suicide. All kinds of death make people sad. Most of us live long, healthy lives. A child, a mother, or father usually lives until he or she is very old. And we know older folks, and we love to have them around. Grandpa, tell us a story is in this caption here. And then I think this is a great question. Are you old yet? Because sometimes we wonder about that with the people who take care of us. And it's okay to ask those questions rather than keep them in. What does dead mean? When someone dies, her body stops working. The heart stops beating and breathing stops. The brain doesn't send or receive messages. She no longer can see, hear, touch, taste, smell, eat, play, feel, or think. She cannot move. And here's some kids playing. Bang, bang, you're dead. And then here's someone out playing and noticing that a bird has died. And they say, poor little bird. And then everybody starts to look at it and says, let me see. Is she sleeping? No, she's dead. She feels all stiff and cold. Someone dead may look asleep, but she isn't sleeping, and she cannot wake up. All right, pretty straight up answers there. Feelings about death. When someone you care about dies, you may have all kinds of feelings. It may be hard to believe that a dead relative or friend won't be around anymore. And so we don't believe it. We say things like, it's not true, Grandma's dead? Grandma's not, wait, I gotta look at that. Sorry, let's back up. This little one's saying, it's not true, Grandma isn't dead. And then their sister goes, or their brother, she is too. In my dream, Yo-Yo was still alive. That happens, we dream. And then someone has, I dreamt a ghost was chasing me and I was running away. So after someone dies, you may have a hard time getting to sleep or have strange dreams or nightmares for a while. Losing someone special who is special to you is very hard to understand. This little one prayed, please God, let Daddy be alive again. I want him back. And it's okay, God listens to that kind of a prayer too. You may feel so sad and lonely that it hurts. These feelings are not always easy to talk about, but it helps if you can. Here's someone who says, I'm not hungry. My tummy hurts. And then Mom recognizes, you must miss Uncle Harry very much. What do you miss most? So, chance to talk. And then there's always that sister or brother. Can I have your dessert? Okay. It can be very scary when someone close to you dies. You might wonder about how your life will change. Can we keep our house? Yes, we can. Try not to worry about that. So worries whether things will change. You might worry whether you will die too, or if someone else you love will die. And so we ask questions, will I get sick and die like Cousin Boris? And then here's that trusty sister. A healthy kid like you? Not likely. Things you weren't afraid of before may scare you now. What if we crash too? Well, I will drive very slowly and be extra careful. These kids will get through this. Yes. It's also natural to feel angry when you miss someone so much. Some days you may push away the very hugs you need. There are lots of ways to let out mad feelings without getting in trouble. This little girl says, I hate the doctors. Hate the doctors. She's saying, keep out. She is not feeling happy. You may want some time to yourself. And here's someone moving. That's a very good idea when we have to have time to ourselves. And time to be near those you love best. Some things are worth crying about, says the dad on this couch. When someone you love dies, there is no right or wrong way to feel. And now for the chapter about among friends. When someone in your family dies, your life is likely to be different. But you hope your friends will treat you the same way they did before. So here's a teacher. Someone in their class has had someone die. And so the teacher says, what can we do to welcome Norasaurus back to school? And this one says, make her cards. This one wonders, should we say I'm sorry? And this friend says, we could hug her. And then this one says, I don't know what to do. And this one suggests, still be her friend. And here's someone over here says, invite her over to play. And then someone over here says, I don't want to talk about it because it's hard. It may be hard for your friends to know what to say or do to help you feel better. Now's the part about saying goodbye. Everyone has to decide how to say goodbye when someone important to him or her dies. And here's someone who has had to say goodbye to a pet. And so Mom says, Dad and I can bury your hamster for you. And she says, no, I want to do it. And Dad says, okay, let's get Harriet ready to be buried. So they're saying goodbye to a pet. This is a special time to show your love and respect. So they're getting ready to say goodbye to their hamster. Here's a snack in case she gets hungry, says little brother. And then Mom reminds them, sweetheart, dead hamsters don't get hungry. And then, there, now she's ready. Friends and family will want to help you honor the life of your friend. A funeral is a special ceremony for someone who has just died. Here's all the people and the things they say. Little one, no more lettuce for Harriet. There they're offering some music. Dad says, let's say a prayer for Harriet. And there's, I love you, Harriet. I'll miss you. And there's some friends that are helping her find her place in the backyard. Your parents can help you decide whether to attend a funeral. You may have many questions about it. And this family's getting ready for one. Dad says, you're old enough to come to the funeral. She says, well, what will it be like, Dad? If we don't have a funeral, will Grandpa come back? That's a question. And then someone else, I want to wear a tie for Grandpa. And then Grandma's kind of sad. Going to someone's funeral or memorial service is one way to let family know you share some of their sadness and some of their good memories too. Even if you don't go to the funeral, you can help out at home and offer hugs or make up a special goodbye poem. Now, we have a lot of questions when we walk into a space where there's a funeral, and these kids have pretty typical question. Is Grandpa's body really in there? And we see people crying. People say things like, oh my, I didn't know Maurysaurus had so many friends. And usually the people who are close to the one who died, they're near the casket. Now, right now, when people are worried about the coronavirus, oftentimes they gather outside at the cemetery. But sometimes they are still having visitations like this. All right, let's turn the page. Keeping customs. There are many special ways of doing things that help us say goodbye to someone who has died. And it depends on our culture, and it's good to know we as people who come to our church are all Christians, and we follow Christian customs, but it's good to know what customs you might find in other people. Some families burn incense and bow low in front of the grave. Others sing and pray together at the grave. Part of their circle is left open in honor of the dead one's spirit. Some other families spend several days in mourning by sitting Shiva. They sit on a simple wooden bench and light a candle every day. And there they are at theirs. Some families have the coffin buried underground, and others choose cremation. Many families continue to honor the dead long after they have died. They may say prayers or prepare a special offering. What comes after death? This is a question a lot of people have, even adults. Some things about death and dying are very hard to understand, even for grown-ups. No one can know for sure what comes after death, but almost everyone has an opinion about it. Here's a little girl. She has an idea. My mom says that Dad lives in our hearts and memories. My family think Mom's soul is with God, but I'm not sure. My science teacher says dead animals and plants never go to waste. They just get recycled. Like when my Aunt Adele died, she donated her eyes to the eye bank. Huh? Life runs in a circular pattern. We are born, go through life, and die. Then we are born again, but in a different form. And that is from cultures that we aren't too familiar with in our area, but that is a belief in our world. And this is more like what we're used to. And the dead shall rise up again and be resurrected. And we believe that because of what Jesus has taught us, that this is a good way to understand what life will be like after our death. And then we talk about heaven. If Grandpa is anywhere, I guess he's in heaven. Where is this heaven, though, anyway? If you have questions about after death, ask your family or your religious leader. And guess what? I'm your religious leader, and I'm happy to talk with you about your questions about death. And I'm happy to show you the things that Jesus taught us about life after death. Here are some ways to remember someone. Even when someone you love dies, you don't lose him completely. You still have your memories. That person can always be a part of you. There are many, many things you can do to remember someone. Some people make a scrapbook about the one they've lost or that died. Play the game. I remember when so-and-so was with your family and friends. And that would be, you put in the name of the person that's gone. You can look at their photograph. You can keep practicing something they taught you. You can write a poem about them. You can keep something of theirs in a special place. You can visit their grave. You can name a pet, a doll, or a stuffed animal after that person you love. You can joke about funny things you remember them doing. You can make a new friend who reminds you of the one who died. You can say a prayer. You can talk to Jesus about death. You can plant a tree in their honor. You can still keep celebrating their birthday and remembering them, and you can include the one who has died in your drawings. The other thing is celebrating that you're still alive, because isn't being alive awesome? At other times, you may be busy having fun, making friends, learning something new. And this is not forgetting the one you love. It just means you're doing other things. Hooray for life. And then we have a glossary at the end, because you hear adults say these words, and it's just good to know what they mean. An autopsy is after someone has died. The scientists come and the doctors come and study what may have caused them to die. A cemetery is a place for burying the dead, sometimes called a graveyard. A coffin is a big box in which the dead body is buried or cremated. Sometimes people call someone's body, which has died, call it a corpse. Usually it means a human being, dead body. Cremation is when we use burning to help the body decompose. And then a funeral is the service. Often it is in our religious tradition, and it's held to honor the dead. And when we gather as Christians, we celebrate that through Jesus, that one will rise again. The grave is the hole dug in the ground. It usually is big enough to hold a coffin, and they cover it over and mark it by the gravestone or some other marker. This word, hearse, is about the car, that big car they put the coffin in. A memorial service is a time that you get together and you honor and remember someone who has died, but their body isn't there anymore. Mourning is something you'll hear, and it's not when the sun comes up, but is M-O-U-R-N, and that's to feel or express sadness or grief for a death or another loss. Sometimes they talk about next of kin, who will miss the one who died, and that means the close relatives. A wake is a watch over a dead body before it is buried. It's another way of calling it a viewing or a visitation, we call that sometimes. A widow is the wife of a person who has died, and a widower is a husband of a person who has died. You may hear people talk about a will, and that means someone wrote down directions about what was to happen to their stuff after they died. One more thing I want you to know about and remember is that adults might feel differently than you do when you are going through the loss of someone, the death of a pet, or the death of a human that you all love so much. And that's okay. It might even be that your sister or your brother feels differently about it. And that's okay. Everybody can have their own feelings. And that's a way you can be kind and gentle to one another. So I hope this was a helpful reading for today. It can be tough to have to learn about death because too often we have worries and we have fears, but it's good to talk about it. I am one of those people that is willing to talk about death, and just keep that in mind. Call me up, ask me questions, and we'll talk it over. You can leave questions on Facebook too, and I will pick that up. So, all right, everyone, we will see you next week. Goodbye.